Hello, everybody. I'm Durelli. I'm a challenger player and coach on NA. I've coached for a long time. If you want to hear more about that, I'll probably have my Discord in the description. But for the topic of this video, I wanted to talk about something really simple, but also really complex. But something that's basically won and lost all of my games this season, in season 16. I don't think nearly enough people are abusing it. And that's just team composition. Okay.
Okay, so to explain what I mean about abusing team comps, let's go back to this frame where we can see both teams. Okay, I'm gonna go over this pretty quick, but we are the red team, and we have like way losing lanes. We have Gennara Senna versus MF Lux, which is just losing. We also have horrible, useless Dark Harvest Rune versus PDA MF and Comet Lux. We have the better summoner and heal, and they have useless exhaust. But still, we have horrible runes, and also we have cleanse versus combat sum, so pretty hard losing bot lane. And then we have Victor versus Syndra, okay, which isn't like the worst thing ever. Syndra does win, but the fact that we're both going first strike means that Syndra can just chill like super outscale, and she does already super outscale Victor. So Victor playing for scaling is pretty horrible this game. He's just gonna lose. And then we have, which I would say is the worst, we have AD Shaco. We know it's AD because he has Halo Blades versus Kiana. And this is horrible because AD Shaco can't really auto Kiana that well. She has grass to spam, and on top of that, Kiana doesn't really care about Shaco's clone because she has like a ton of AoE damage. So she can kill both Shaco and the clone. And that leads to me, okay, the Swain. And I'm versus Ezreal. And usually it's fine to go against ADCs as Swain, especially top lane. You can go like Frozen Heart and just out tank them. But this Ezreal, we see he has First Strike, which means he's probably going to go AP, which he does. And AP is really good against Swain because Swain has really low base and scaling MR. So all in all, this looks rather horrible for the red side. Except I am still almost 100% confident we're going to win this game. Okay? And why, you might ask? Well, it's because as Swain, they're all super squishy, but more importantly, they have no percentage max HP damage. And this is super important. It looks like I just drew like a sideways penis, but that is supposed to be percent simple. Anyways, be mature. They have Kiana and Syndra. Kiana is percentage max health damage in her ult. It's percentage physical damage. And they have true damage Syndra W late game, which isn't even percentage max HP. So they only have one, and then the Syndra could sometimes be good at killing tanks later in the game. So that's it. They have no way to deal with HP stackers besides those two champions, which is a super big deal. Okay? And you might think like how is this a season 16 thing? Like this always existed. But this matters so much more in season 16 than 15 because in this season, early game decisions, so early game, skill discrepancies and like sporadic gold differences, sporadic gold leads and dips, they matter so much less, okay, this season than they did last season. And the reason why is because waves are super fast. So waves got a really, really, really big buff this season, and I'm sure everybody's noticed they're super quick. Everybody can get way more CS, and home guards as well. So everybody is super quick back into fighting once they respawn. The waves are super fast, and on top of that, there's no more Atacon, right? But Baron is kind of like the new Atacon in the sense that like you really need it to end the game, but it's so hard to take. It like one shots you now, it shreds your resistances, and it gives you so much less. It gives you about 500 less gold. So Baron is 500 less gold. I think it's like 100 gold less per person, and it's less XP. So it's super nerfed. The only like consistent win con in this season is Soul Point, and Soul is a late game thing. So everybody, it doesn't really matter too much. Like I said, the gold leads and dips, individual skill, and general nonsense that is solo queue, because most people are going to be playing till Soul Point anyways. And like I said, actually, I don't know if I mentioned this. It's not always the case. It's not like the better team comp will always win, but it matters a lot more. Okay, more so than individual skill. So if you can identify and look at both teams and make these kind of assertions that I did, then you will be in a much better spot to carry your games in season 16. Sorry for the haphazard editing and also my mic changing. My mic broke, but anyways, regardless, I wanted to make this point and make this video because if you cannot understand and dissect these things, you are doing yourself a great disservice this season. Now, I'm challenger and it requires a lot of game knowledge, but it's worth the time investment to get better at analyzing your compositions and your win con and even your champion picks. As you noticed, I mentioned earlier, and you can see I'm playing Swain this game. And Swain is a champion I picked up in season 15 the last few months, and I've stuck with in season 16. And a big part of that is because Swain is a champion that just naturally rounds out team compositions and makes it so much easier. The majority of my games are on ADC, and the reason for this is one, I'm pretty good at Swain, but two, he makes team comps super easy from the bot lane. ADCs don't really do a lot for team comps. I mean, they're important, right? Like, we need their DPS. We like ADCs that buy Yuntal, Fiend Hunters, IE, Collector, IE. Their DPS is really, really good in a team. But in terms of like actually rounding out a team comp, they're kind of a big hole. And especially in solo queue, people pick extremely greedy champions. And we can see already both teams desperately needed an engaged support. So I mean, already both supports are totally following the rules of solo queue. They're just picking dog shit nonsense. Leona versus Nautilus should have been this team. Then we have jungle picks. We have Kiana, which does offer more like some decent utility for an assassin jungler. We have Shaco, which is a dog shit pick for solo queue, and rounding out a team comp, he offers nothing, especially AD Shaco. It's a big fucking hole. We have Ezreal top. We have two mages mid, which not bad. You know, these guys are pretty fine. They're not really doing anything wrong with their picks. But Swain ADC and Swain in general can do a lot of different things in a team comp. He's utility, he's damage, he can carry, he can be full tank. You can even go flat pen and burst. You can do a lot. So the players who understand that team composition matters much more than it ever has are abusing this to basically cheat code themselves to auto win scenarios, which is what I do this game. So I'll show you, and you can hear me complain a bit in the background. Um, First off, we're TPing in with Victor. Shaco's dead. Okay. Senna's dead. And they're trying to do Baron. Now, this is a huge mistake on the enemy's part. They should not do Baron. Especially with their comp, it really, really, really sucks for them to even try Baron this early. They really just need to try to leverage their lead, which, even though the scoreline is kind of even, they do still have a bit of a gold lead, as I showed you earlier. But Baron is a no-go. Like I said earlier, Baron is kind of like old season Arakan. This fucking guy, he's so much tankier. He completely one-shots. All these persons' magic resistance and armor are super shred. So they're way squishier, and it takes forever to kill Baron. And even if they did do Baron, which they could not possibly do without losing at least a few members, they would get minimal benefits. Early game Baron, trying to get Baron by 20 minutes is almost always a mistake this season, which is huge if you're trying to scale with your team comp and you understand how the champions work later in the game, because it's really hard for the enemy team to force out a lead. So you see we're going to punish them. Even though in season 15 we have two dead, our jungler is dead, the Baron's half HP, and our jungler is still on a timer. Oh, sorry here. And we're walking. This is a mistake, and I'll show you why. Because with my pick, I do some spells over the wall. Get hit by everything. But the Victor just ults, and they have to get off. If they stood in this Victor ult, they'd all be completely one-shot. And you can see the Syndra trying to look for a pick. I mean, it's not a horrible idea. I mean, blindly running into here was kind of like, you know, kind of brain damaged. But whatever. It's not a horrible idea. They do have the advantage. But because of my champion and the way I built, which, if you don't see, my build is a Giant's Belt, Frozen Heart, Abyssal Mask, Tear, and some Steel Stacks with Swifties. Super tanky, just relying on my base damage to do all the damage. And our Shaco, like, basically completely ints again, whatever. But look at how I position here. I just go into 3 of them. And you see there are 3 focusing me. Now if you see my team, my Victor's up here, my Inara's over here. Look at the space I'm able to buy for them. All their spells on me still. MF ult, Lux exhaust. Look at the direction of this MF ult. This is so good. It basically isn't hitting anybody but me, and I can tank it.
Look how much they use on me.
However, my team is horrible, and this game is very long. We're not even halfway done. So we're still one shot, despite how well that was. But we're able to pick up the MF, Dark Harvest Senna value, right guys? And
Okay,
we're able to
there's,
get
I don't
actually
know,
a man advantage off of a horrible situation.
for something good to happen.
When honestly, it seems really weird, but their best play was to just go completely AFK and hit waves and try to get soul with their lead.
The only range that he loses.
Okay? And I'm just like complaining in the background as you can see, but skipping a little further ahead, we have the same situation basically, where we're trying to play around Baron, which is a huge mistake this season. Like I said, Baron is super bad this season. It's the objective itself is not bad. You obviously need it to win, but trying to force it early, especially if you don't have the right team for it. This team has like no sustain at all. They cannot do Baron. They're way too squishy. They're trying to play around it, but I'm able to outplay them a bit. 552 damaged. That's basically the last spell that'll deal damage to me. Like I said, that's the only spell on their team that's percentage max health damage. But I just like stand still forever, CC'd for life. But I buy so much space for my Yanara to actually flash in. Look at the spells I ate, by the way. That's Kiana ult, that's Syndra QE, and probably an MFE. That's Lux Bind. Look how much value I'm getting in these fights. This is basically all of their important CC spells. And this is a higher elo game, so my team actually can take advantage of this a bit more. But my Inara sees this, knows all their spells are on cooldown. She goes fucking in. She flashes in. She knows she's totally fine. The Kiana flashes in to try to kill our Inara, but she's their most fed member. That's not worth. I get this super sexy E off on her revive. She's dead. And we're just able to clean them up.
Wow, our Victor is so bad. So
and to, when the scoreboard shows up, look how much we've evened out the gold. Our mid laner is even more ahead. He was 1 XP ahead, now he's 2. He's 3 items, working on 4. The Sandra is 2 items, working on 3. The gold for ADC is so much better now. We're both 3 items. MF is still a little ahead, but not by too much. And jungle, oh god, jungle, whatever. He is getting a little bit back into the game. Not that it matters. Later in the game, all he does is run it down. We basically win the game 4v5, but whatever. Okay. Like I said, this game lasts a long time. It's just constant fighting, total nonsense. But regardless of the gameplay, main point I'm trying to make is there's a lot of champions, honestly, and you'd be surprised that can really deviate from the normal build and playstyle. And if you're an especially versatile player, being able to see this in Champion Select is such a boon this season. Or if you're someone like me, I'm just picking a lot of Swain because I think he's a great pick this season. Earlier this season as well, I saw Jack show Syndra. Jack showing Syndra. And that sounds like total batshit. But honestly, for the game that it was in, it was pretty smart. And it's players like this. This was so sad. For players like this that understand how to basically cheat code themselves into these auto win scenarios by deviating from their build or like playing different champions, they are basically cheating the system for season 16. I think anybody would greatly benefit from having the knowledge of how to abuse this. So that's kind of like the end of my video. I just wanted to talk about this a bit because it's something I'm noticing. Team comp is mattering so much more than individual skill. I think people need to kind of realize this, as well as the fact that Baron is honestly a really shit objective. Soul is kind of the only thing that matters this season in terms of ending out a game. And the lower elo you go, the more true this becomes. Now, like I've been saying, team comp is not the end-all be-all. If that were the case, I think we'd actually lose this game. But I'm able to make enough of a difference by playing full tank Swain, that I'm able to buy all this space for my Yanara, for my Victor, to actually make a difference in these fights despite being insanely gapped. It's not totally fair. My Yanara was good. I think he was better than MF. Everybody else, though, was a lost cause. But because I'm able to identify this, I'm able to basically auto win this game. And despite, I know you've heard me, that I said I think we lose. I was pretty confident we would win from the beginning. Although the gameplay of everybody might have tried to dissuade me. And I'm going to show another moment of like why full tank Swain was so powerful this game. Look how completely caught I am here. Kiana, really good combo. Combos with the AP Ezreal ult. I should be dead. But every passive proc is 400 HP. It will burn her GA for free.
And Cheatcode does nothing.
And we eventually win this fight, and a lot of minutes later we win the game. But yeah, that's going to be the end of my video. To summarize, I think taking into account team composition, your role in the team comp, identifying the win con. For me, it was making space. There's so many scary spells in this game for my team to handle, whether it's from Lux, Syndra, Kiana. I know they cannot deal with me if I go full tank. We're able to bring this to a close. I'll show out the last few bits of the game here.
I'm so fucking good.
Glazing myself here. Yeah, we're able to win. This is the cheat code in Season 16. Gone are the days of just like totally outskilling your opponent. You win by just being the better player. You can, and definitely that matters a lot, but I think people that can take in the larger scope of the game are at a huge advantage this season. Don't listen to people. Build a little bit off meta. Maybe Jaxo Syndra is not so bad after all some games. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. This season is looking to be really good. I hope that you can snowball a bit harder this season. It's kind of a little bit annoying that it's really hard to solo carry. Like I said, people are just barely worth 100 gold after 2 solo kills. But if you're excited for this season, link in the description. Join my Discord. Let's talk about it. Yeah.